Wenxin, second bow. Sam Wenxin, third bow. Okay, would our Dharma requester please go ahead and begin now?
恭敬大德僧听，为此法会，一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，主张无上。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samya samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samya samputosye.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right. Well, thank you, Terry. To have an Ohioan request Dharma and a University of California alumni respond, that must be auspicious somehow. All right, if we can count up all the folks who have come through Ohio and found the Dharma, we'd have enough for a basketball team, I'm sure. All right, 我们继续迎请华严海会佛菩萨护法三生天龙八部莅临道场祝福各位。So we're going to go ahead and invite respectfully the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the Flower Garland Assembly, as well as the gods and the dragons and the Eightfold Pantheon of spiritual Dharma protectors, to draw near and magically through, because our world, given the Avatamsaka's flower treasury world system, our world's pretty small. We're going to invite them to bless everybody who is connected in this virtual link around the world. If we're all sitting in the same room, that's easy to visualize. When we're logging in virtually, it seems like something quite magical, but I think from the perspective of the Avatamsaka, no big deal. Here we go. Okay, well, set aside my shoka banjo and say, the Pomo people practice their spiritual connections to the earth and all creation here in Yokeo, Shengu, Ukiah Valley for tens of thousands of years. And today we acknowledge them, their ancestral land, air, and water, as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 我们就说恭敬地承认一个Pomo 人是我们寺院，就是深谷万福城那个地方所在地的传统的居士者和守护人，恭敬承认。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。For the bell song today, I have a wonderful bell that I actually brought home from Taiwan recently, and it's got a very calming presence and multiple sounds to vibrate. So let's listen to this bell. 我今天我们那个就是这个朝中鸡 what how do we call it？ 这个大庆是我给大家看看，就是这个东西了，好听，是台湾的这个师傅打的那个这个声音很清静，而且有几层的，有高有低有中声音。来。The bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生记啊，众生传3000界内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训起法界和平，利益报他那厚德。Here we are. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. I've got a very interesting desktop with a story that I will share with you all later. 我那个左上那一张很有趣啊，是不是？你们认识中间这位呢？那个是孔老夫子啊。这位呢是孔老夫子做什么呢？他就弹琴了，他就做音乐。看那个桌子，他也喝茶、吃饭，这里泡茶，可是他呢有一个观众，这个人是谁呢？他姓香，他叫香，他是古琴师傅，他教孔夫子如何弹古琴，这个里边那个故事很有意思，等一下我就有机会就跟大家讲。So what we're looking at here on my desktop. The gentleman here with the long beard in the center is Confucius. And he is, on his lap, he has a guqin. I believe it's a 7-string guqin, and history tells us that Confucius played a 5-string guqin. The 2 extra strings are added after him. He has an attendant here who has also got a beard, but he looks half of Confucius' size. Here we have a table with food and drink. Here we have someone brewing up a pot of tea, boiling some water for tea. And over here in the right-hand side, in the darker robe, this is a gentleman named Xiang. He is a guqin master. He is teaching Confucius how to play guqin. This is an actual story from Confucius's life. And here is Xiang's guqin, which is probably being tuned up or something is happening here on this side. Now, the story of this is quite a wonderful illustration of a different version of Confucius than I think we're used to. Our stereotype of Confucius is kind of a stuffy individual who wants you to have no fun, basically. So later on today, I'm going to share that story with you. Okay. 那么还有现在报告呢有或者呢讲完了，我们讲完了才报道，有一些就是消息跟大家分享。Okay, let's get to our text today. Here we are. There. People will recall, if you'd like to, hope you recall, we are exploring the 10 dedications, the 10 Transferences chapter 25, from a much longer sutra called the Flower Garland, the Avatamsaka. And we're investigating one practice method called transference, dedicating merit. And it's a kind of giving done with the mind. First, there is cultivation of the way, some practice that generates goodness and reduces ignorance, transforms affliction, and the results of that, if you wish to, you can give it away. This chapter in the sutra is an instruction manual for how to do that. We're in 8 out of 10 steps, number 8. So we're quite advanced in the process of how to dedicate. And in this specific part of the chapter where we've come, the Bodhisattva it's called the 8th transference, and it's called similar to true suchness, just the way, the appearance of true suchness, true thusness, the holy, the sacred, the Buddha nature that operates within every living being, actually, within each of us. So that's where we are. And in this part of the chapter, there are 100 double metaphors. So the Bodhisattva says, just the way true suchness is something or other, likewise, Bodhisattvas, when they dedicate merit, are something or other. So we've got to hold these two images in the mind at the same time and then find their relationship. That's what this is about. So it's a very satisfying chapter to explain, because why? Only for people who have fertile, vivid, lively imaginations for goodness, you could say. People who love fiction, for example, people who love to teach children by giving them new information in their minds, seeding wholesome, compassionate images of kindness and compassion. Those are the folks for whom this comes alive. If we are a go-getter, a builder, a dynamic, alpha type, this can seem kind of elusive, perhaps, hard to grasp. So where do you fall on that spectrum of the two? All right. 好的，就说现在讲的是就是华严经的第25品10回向品。我们已经讲到第8回向，就真如回向。真如呢，这个道理是一个名字，可以换，也可以讲说是涅槃性，也可以说是佛性，或者万法一切法的法性，都是这个东西，也可以说是菩提。每一个人甚至每个众生都有满分的这个没有就这个法不可少的。师父就说各个他怎么说呢？各个不无，人人都具，各个不无 ，something like that。这个真如性。那么当然10回向第8比较进步 比较高尚的，这不是初学的一个法。不过呢，现在讲到第八回向里边，菩萨给我们100个比喻，那个比喻是一双来的，是2个比2个来的。第一个呢，就说譬如真如如何如何如何，真如是怎么一回事，这是第一个比喻。第二个比喻呢，就说菩萨回向功德，菩萨回向善根。如何如何？第二个比喻，然后把这2个比喻，对比，比较起来。那么，如果你喜欢读小说，如果你喜欢画画或者看画，如果你喜欢听音乐，如果你喜欢教小孩子这么一个心态的一个人一定会喜欢第八回向这段如果你是比较落实、比较实在的，就说好像要实事求是的有所成就的人，比较入世的人，这个可能不一定很容易掌握看如果这2个人呢，你是哪一种我一定是会喜欢看小说，喜欢听音乐，看画就是那个想象力比较活动的一个人，所以这一篇我特别喜欢Okay, so let's say all kinds of people can enjoy this part of the text, but it occurs to me that when we have 2 analogies and we're learning to balance them to get the essence of what the chapter wants to tell us, that's a special kind of person. Okay, let's see. How does it work? 同时我们也把我们的恒寿法师那个 Kalavinka Press 他出版的这个华严经的英文翻译一起来研究讲解因为有2个英语的版本有不同的方向，不同的颜色出来了。So we're also at the same time comparing this current BTTS translation with the English translation done by Dharma Mitra, Bhikshu Heng Sure. When you have 2 versions of a translation, it throws a different part of the spectrum on the translation, and sometimes we just need to hear that second bit to grab it, to get it. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. Start right here with the blue. 譬如真如无有见习，善根回向亦复如是。为欲安处一切众生于大之地，与一切劫，修菩萨行无有间隙。Just as true suchness never ceases, neither do bodhisattvas' dedication of good roots, in that they ceaselessly cultivate bodhisattva practices throughout all eons, in order to firmly establish living beings on the ground of great wisdom. Okay, big, complex, lovely image here. So let's look at the Chinese first. 譬如真如怎么样？无有间隙，真如没有一个时候不在，它没有一个开始，一个结束的时候，所以叫常住法善根回向亦复如是，一样的，怎么样一样呢？为欲安处一切众生于大智地，大智有地吗？有，哪里？自己的心要把我们众生安住在哪里？与一切劫修菩萨行无有间隙。菩萨是这样子，与一切劫就是 always 常常没有一个停了，没有停住，没有停止的时候，修菩萨行无有间隙。他们愿力就没有一个说 OK， 我就修完了，现在休息了，没有了。OK， so here's the idea. It's a matter of time. We've been talking about true suchness over time, all the different divisions of time. Here's the first analogy. Just as true suchness never ceases, what does it do? It never stops. True suchness doesn't have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's constant. Bodhisattvas, when they dedicate their good roots, are the same way. How? They ceaselessly cultivate bodhisattva practices throughout all eons. The purpose of that being to firmly establish living beings on the ground of great wisdom. Does great wisdom have a ground? Yes, it does, the mind. So to get us, we living beings, firmly established, set us up in the mind ground, Shindi, bodhisattvas cultivate their bodhisattva practices without stop, ceaselessly. Okay, let's see what the Dharma Mitra says. Partial, let's see here. No. All places, existent, non-existent. Okay. Free of discriminations, never rests. Yes. Just as true suchness never rests for even a moment, so too, Bodhisattva's dedication roots of goodness, for wishing to establish all beings on the grounds of great wisdom, they incessantly enable cultivation of the bodhisattva practices throughout all kalpas. Okay, that makes sense. This idea of all bodhisattva practices, what did we have here? Here we are, all bodhisattva practices. We are here at the Gold Coast Dharma Realm currently bowing the Emperor Liang repentance. And I was invited every night to go and give a talk at night for an hour. This provided an opportunity. I accepted. I was happy to be invited, and this gave me an opportunity to open up a project that I have been working on for a long time and not succeeded. There's a lot of work to do in this project. I opened it up in 2013, so this is a 12-year project that's been going on. And it's about creating a resource for readers of English in particular, not necessarily exclusively, but also for modern minds to get a comprehensive primer for cultivating inside the Chinese Mahayana tradition. How to cultivate a ruman, a gate entering text, primer for what is the Chinese Mahayana, what is the Bodhisattva path. In Singapore last autumn, a gentleman came up to me during a Medicine Buddha repentance liturgy and said, we English-speaking Buddhists in Singapore who don't speak Chinese, we're ethnically Chinese, we were raised and educated in the English stream, they call it. When we want to cultivate Chinese Mahayana, the tradition of our culture and civilization, we're frustrated because we don't speak Chinese, so we don't have any access to the Dharma, to the teachings. Can you provide one? And I was kind of caught flat-footed, open mouth, being a disciple of Master Hsuan Hua. The answer has to be yes, right? But where is that text? How come we haven't come up with one that is comprehensive, that reaches out to people where they are and explains things like Samantabhadra's 10 practices, one by one by one. Bowing, praising, offering, repenting, rejoicing, requesting, studying, according, and transferring. The 10 vows of Samantabhadra. How come the 4 great bodhisattvas, Guan Yin, great strength. Oops, I said great strength. Guan Yin, Earth Store, Manjushri, and Samantabhadra are not explained. Prajna Paramita, the 6 paramitas, the 10 paramitas, the 3 main sutras even. Pure Land practice, Chan practice, mantra practice. All these 84,000 Dharma methods are not explained in English for modern minds. And that book doesn't exist yet. So it occurred that after this gentleman made that request, it's really time for we disciples of Master Shenhua to get that going. So here is for bodhisattvas to ceaselessly cultivate all bodhisattva practices throughout all eons in order to get living beings to stand up on their own minds, in their own minds, make their minds clean, well-lit places for cultivation. That we really have to apologize to Shifu if we don't come up with a simply easy to approach, comprehensive text. Could be online, could be a podcast series, could be handouts, could be a book between covers. And then, if once it's in English, if we can say China would appreciate that too, let's translate it for the Chinese-speaking world. I don't think that book really exists. Someone could say, oh, Puti Dao Cidi Guanglun by Tsongkhapa. We want a Chinese source, right? Tsongkhapa is wonderful, but we need some from the Chinese tradition. So that's what we're doing. Got quite a bit of material gathered, but we have to put it in order. So during the evening lectures, we're doing that in English with translation. It's on Zoom. Let me, since we're here, I opened it up because we had that in the text. So here is, if people would like to listen in, it's unfortunately for California, it's way inconvenient time for, let's see, here we go. In when it's 7 p.m., it's 2 a.m. So I'm not going to hold my breath wanting to see who comes. If you're interested here, click on this QR code. Take a picture of that QR code. It will take you to the Zoom so you can join in. 就说, I need to translate that. Here it is. This is our repentance right now. And the lecture is at night. Okay. All right. 就说没有一个这个新加坡有居士就问我说，法师，我是华人，我讲英语，我的教育全部是在新加坡是英语教育，不是中文。可是在新加坡现在如果要修汉传佛教，你必须要讲中文。法师是很传统，很少他们愿意把我们84000法门用英语来解释，所以我们讲英文的中国人在新加坡现在无门可入。法师，你们万佛城有没有教材给我们？那我就哑口无言，因为必须要答复说还没有。所以呢，我们现在讲那个菩萨行，一切菩萨行那个书，我们都要集要 combine 要写要出版可以在网上可以就有 podcast 什么方法让人就知道四大菩萨是谁，6波罗蜜是什么大乘经书是什么普贤菩萨10大愿望是什么怎么样皈依三宝，怎么样受5戒八关斋戒 再加菩萨戒这样子呢，什么叫这个功德？什么叫般若波罗蜜多？这些问题呢，有没有一个入门手册告诉我们怎么修呢？初级、中级、高级没有，所以呢，那本书我们现在就准备几集So let's see. Oh, good. GCDR YouTube. 哦，好，那个各位看我们这个 chat box 有 Good. Okay, I didn't know that. 有一个录音。So good. 这个如果各位你们想参加 live stream 有 Zoom 这个软件呢，就可以在这里。你们就 QR code 可以听到，在美国，在西方那是夜晚2点，在加州很晚，不过那个一焕告诉我们也是在 GCDR website. Should we click on that? Let's see. Problem is that's YouTube, and here in Asia people can't get that. So let's take a look here. Oh, okay, there it is.
Spent a great deal of time attending to his family members.
Okay, good. So, YouTube 也有, GCDR, stream 18 hours. So this week, it'll all be there. We're doing a lecture every night. 昨天晚上的题目是孝顺，现在的孝道。孝道如何变成同体大悲。Last night's topic was filiality, how filiality develops into great compassion. That's a tough logical step to explain, but I'm determined that we can do that. Okay, moving forward, let's get going on our text here. Otherwise, it'll be forever on this one section. Here we go. 譬如真如体性宽广，遍一切法，善根回向，亦复如是。净念无碍，普摄一切宽广法门。Just as true suchness universally gathers in all kinds of sentient beings, so too does their bodhisattva's dedication of good roots, in that they gain knowledge of the countless categories of sentient beings and cultivate bodhisattva's true wondrous practices. Okay. True suchness universally gathers in all kinds of sentient beings, right? So does bodhisattva's dedication, in that they gain knowledge. They understand, they know about all the different categories of sentient beings and cultivate bodhisattva's true wondrous practices. 真实妙恒. Is that what let's see. No, sorry. Wrong. 亦复如是，经验无碍. Yeah, here we go. I read the wrong English. Sorry, that didn't make sense. 譬如, let's try it again. 譬如真如体性宽广，遍一切法. Okay. 善根回向亦复如是，净念无碍，普摄一切宽广法门。Okay, here it is. First one. Just as the essence of true suchness is intrinsically vast and present throughout all phenomena, so too are bodhisattvas' dedication of good roots, in that their pure unobstructed mind encompasses all vast Dharma doors. Okay, erase that previous, we skipped one and read the wrong English. So, true suchness, by its own nature, all by itself, is vast and found in everything, everywhere. So too, when bodhisattvas dedicate good roots, their pure, unobstructed mind gathers in every kind of practice method. Okay. What's the idea? So when we dedicate merit, we do it with our minds. It has, if the mind is really pure and uncloudy, imagine how far your dedication can travel, how many beings you can ingather, and how many practices are included. Can you visualize? Compared to when most of us, when we dedicate, if we remember to dedicate merit, we can kind of think about maybe somebody who we hope will get the benefit, or some group, or when we just say all living beings, 一切众生, it's like, does that also include Republicans? If not, then we've got a boundary, a limit. So Bodhisattvas at the 8th stage, at the 8th transference, wow, imagine the customers who receive their broadcast, listeners who receive the goodness that they send out. Wow, if your mind was that clear, in a single thought, you gather in everybody. Wow. 就说我们回向功德的时候，我们的心是怎么样清净呢？怎么样宽广？如果有朋友有敌人，如果有远有近，这个有人我们愿意接触，有人我们就讨厌的话，那回向功德的时候，有一些众生可以受到我们的这个实播 live broadcast live broad 我们的 what's it called live cast live stream 如果像第8回向的菩萨，我们的心这么样清净，那播放功德的时候，大家想想看，就一念之间，那么多众生都可以受到这种广播，哇！就是我问自己属我的党的朋友啊，我愿意回向给他们；不属于或者反对我那个党派的这些众生，不愿意他们受到，那就恐怕不能说宽广心不变一切法，变一些法，不是一切法，变一些法，有一些法不变的，那就知道跟华严经的菩萨比较起来，还有一些那个路有一些地方还要走。OK， 譬如真如遍摄群品，善根回向亦复如是，正的无量品类之智，品类之智，修诸菩萨真实妙行。Here we go. Just as true suchness universally gathers in all kinds of sentient beings, so too does the dedication of good roots of a bodhisattva, in that it gains knowledge of the countless categories of sentient beings and cultivates all bodhisattvas' true wondrous practices. Okay, this could be a shocker when you want to pin this one down and say, how many kinds of sentient beings are there? When it depends on which tradition of Dharma you investigate. 台兰实话, they say there's living beings born from wombs, born from eggs, born from consciousness, and then born from transformation. And boy, when you go looking for examples of beings born from moisture, you have to get right into biology. Absolutely. We're down into primordial ooze and evolution, Charles Darwin, and then move on to beings born by transformation. And you go, I guess that could be caterpillars into butterflies, maybe? Could it be, what about amoeba? What about bacteria? Is bacteria a sentient being? Are amoebas sentient beings? Single cell zygotes that, if you look at, wow, we could really get ourselves in deep trouble here talking about when does conception happen in the womb. So I guess that would be womb-born. But how when does consciousness enter the cells that develop into a child and then 9 months later is born. So this is real stuff. And so the kind of the causal space is 4: womb-born, egg-born, moisture-born, and transformation-born. But once you leave that space, then you need the Shurangama Sutra's 25 categories of beings. And okay, so that's fascinating once you start digging into the Shurangama, because then you come up with things like rishis. That's our latest Shurangama theme translation. Instead of immortals, rishi, xianren. They are still in a body and they live a very long time, but they're also mortal. They're still within samsara. They're much long-lived. Then, what about the 6-spoked path? Beings in the hells, beings who are animals, beings who are ghosts, all the different realms of ghosts. If it wasn't for Master Hsuan Hua's description, how would we know about these various categories of beings, right? Shifu says in the realm of ghosts, there are so many different categories. There are hungry ghosts, there are ghost kings, there are ghost armies, there are ghost slaves, there are ghost men and women, male, female. Yeah, and just what an amazing, amazing concept. You touch the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra, and there are ghosts who are bodhisattvas transformed into the realm of ghosts in order to bring the Dharma and rescue beings, to bring them out of the ghost realm to the human realm, etc. So, wow, how many kinds of sentient beings. And how many am I able to get along with? If I see someone who comes from a different geographical country, a geopolitical distinction, and I don't like them, and so they're not allowed to live in my country with me, my mind is too small, too narrow. It really does challenge us to think about this, in that I, for example, living here in Australia, have made peace with snakes. I didn't before. I had never encountered snakes growing up in Ohio. Garter snakes. We had little garter snakes, and they were harmless and small, and they were really fast. Occasionally, you'd see a garter snake, and they were pretty. They were green, black. To come to Australia and realize that the alpha predator in this corner of the bush of the forest where I live are pythons. And the only thing that can really harm a python would be a wedge-tailed eagle, big enough to grab them and pick them up and kill them. When they're small, kookaburras will kill even venomous snakes, bash its head against a tree branch, and then kill it and then swallow it. So you think, goodness gracious. You look at the national seal of Mexico, and there is a snake and an eagle in a mortal combat. So symbolically, historically, reptiles and birds are kind of rivals. So they have this paradigm opposition has been with humanity for a very long time. And on a symbolic level, you go, that's very interesting. When you come face to face with a very large python and its eyes are looking at you, you have to accept the reality of my limits of being able to gather in sentient beings universally. It's a snake. Away you jump. The first time that happened to me, I was on my way to teach a university class here at Bond University, and I was had to be picked up in 5 minutes, and I had to grab my bags and computer and all. And I came running around the corner to enter my deck, into my house through the deck. And there was a carpet python sunning itself in the sun on my terrace. And my body reacted to the sight of the snake before my mind did. I felt something in my dantian react, and I was propelled back through space. And then my mind went, oh, there's a snake there. So what I recognized in that was it was a reptile brain, interestingly named, a primal brain that recognized danger from a reptile and moved me back out of the way. The snake looked at me with this lazy kind of, oh my gosh, all right, if you're going to be so unhospitable, I'm leaving. And it slowly turned and went down under the deck very elegantly. So that was years ago. Since then, I've come face to face with pythons and other snakes here in the Australian bush regularly. And I've come to appreciate the quality of their life and how their limitations, lower than a snake's belly in a wagon rut, is an insult for somebody who is so low. Humans don't like snakes, especially the Hebrew Bible will talk about that. Snakes are said to be treacherous. You know I was a snake before you let me in, says the song. And yet here they are, and the birds don't like them. The birds are deeply distrustful of snakes, and they send out an alarm that all different bird species know and recognize, kind of a civil defense warning. Whenever a snake that can eat birds shows up, the bird, whoever it is, sees the snake first, sends out the call, and all the other birds are like, alert. So my point in telling this story is to say, here in a world where I encounter living beings realm, we have the 6 realms: hells, ghosts, animals, humans, asuras, devas. That's the 6 paths. All kinds of sentient beings. Am I ready to accept, to gather them in universally? We have a long way to go before we can really have that bodhisattva's truly great compassion, tongti dabe. Don't get me started on large spiders. Just today, I encountered a very large huntsman spider, and when I came back, he had moved on, or she, and I got a good photo of this palm-sized, this big huntsman, and I've come to appreciate them in a whole new way. So many Aussies see a huntsman spider and go, "Good day, mate. How's it going? You know, good on you, mate. She's right." They don't have, they appreciate huntsman spider's ability to keep cockroaches down and other kinds of spiders. And so it's what do we say? We have to be carefully taught to hate. It is not instant. It's not assumed that we will like certain groups and hate other groups. It's not bred in. It's taught. 就说像菩萨 let's see here 本是用比喻地藏菩萨呢类心体田庄庄你第一个字我不那个简体字我看不懂类心体能否用来什么叫那个I'm gonna write this down. Where's our notes? Here's our notes. I have to translate this back into 繁体字, 正体字. Okay, 类心体是什么？一欢或者谁？类心体能不能来比喻地藏菩萨呢？ What is that? Somebody translate that for me. Save that. Bring it back. Quasar.那个田庄庄，对不起，我认识科技的发达很有限。你自己呢？你打进去，你看这个类星体跟地藏菩萨有什么关系呢？麻烦你再写，我们可以考虑啊。OK，就说华严经的菩萨就说他们呢就遍摄群品，这个心量真的大。我把我自己这个心量大不大比较起来很差，就说我们怎么知道群品呢？有台蓝石化四种的出生的方法，然后呢，我们那个《楞严经》里边的25种的众生然后呢6道轮回的众生比较起来很多佛法真的是给我们解释很多不同的众生，然后呢，那个是一种理论。我们什么时候离开我们什么时候我们人法界接触众生法界、畜生法界看看我们有没有限量，我们的心量大不大？我举个比喻呢，我现在住在澳大利亚的树林子里边，这个是 rainforest 雨林这个我的四周围都是树林子，我每天会接触很多不同的众生有哪一天我遇到蛇，而且呢是蛇王，是大蟒蛇我知道了因为在美国中部长大了，没有机会遇到蛇是小小的 garter snake， 没有毒的，跑得好快怕人，所以等我到了澳大利亚看到7尺长的蟒蛇，我就知道这个不同，那不一样了。我第一次遇到一条所谓 carpet 地毯蟒蛇 carpet python我眼睛碰到了，我的身体已经在空中往后跳，那个脑子还没有起，我眼睛所看到的是怎么一回事，我已经跳了。可能因为有人说人是属于猴子之类，猴子怕蛇跳了然后心就说哎呀那是一条蛇，这样子我的反应好快，没有想已经在空中，然后呢那条蛇它就在我的阳台呢，它就晒太阳，它看我它就哎呀你看这个人呢怕了，他就走了，慢慢的下去了，这样子一点都不在乎他不怕我。然后呢有几次我看到，因为他们在这里这个树林子是alpha species， 他们是做业主，其他的群类就怕他们。好的，那么我就这样子慢慢的我就不怕了，我现在可以跟蛇一起住，甚至于虽然人类真的讨厌蛇，都是看到蛇就要杀在澳大利亚这里呢，蛇是保护的动物，不能杀它们他们都说因为太普遍了，到处都有蛇，好几种，他们都说你看到蛇你不要惹它，你慢慢的往后退。你有狗 家里养狗有孩子，叫他们慢慢的往后退，给那个蛇机会跑，它一定会跑，因为蛇不愿意跟人有关系的，他们愿意走所以在澳大利亚这里是保护。那么为什么讲蛇呢？因为变色春品，我们能不能，我们会不会变色春品不容易，不容易所以真的明白华严经的菩萨他是心量多大呢？哇！其实I left out a little bit of the story, which is Master Hua, when I lived in Taiwan with our master Hong Zhang back in 1989, there was another opportunity to encounter snakes. This is actually the second time. And there, people, the snakes down in southern Kaohsiung are pretty much all venomous. There's crates, there are, this time when I was there last December, I actually saw a cobra, an amazing cobra, so fast, really fast and strong, big around. There are green bamboo snakes. There are 100-step snakes. After you're bitten, you have 100 steps before you die. So in Taiwan, Master Hua said to us, he said, 蛇你千万不要惹蛇，他们就灵性。他说你随他去，让他走，你不要惹他。So Master Hua said, snakes have spiritual natures. He said, under no circumstances are you allowed to trouble snakes. Let them go. Let them follow their own path. Don't mess with snakes. And he had experiences with snakes in Hong Kong, where snakes' magical qualities were on display. 其实玄华上人他在香港的时候，他也有几次就遇到蛇，知道蛇的灵性，他们不简单的我们就迎请天龙八部都包括大蟒蛇、摩诃罗伽In fact, when we invite the Avatamsaka assembly to draw near with music, that includes the Mahoragas. Mahoragas. They are large snake, kings of snakes, and snakes' bodies. So, just to say, bodhisattvas who can do that are truly remarkable. Let's see, what does Heng Sure say? Just as true suchness comprehensively includes all the many different classes of beings, so too it is with dedications of roots of goodness. For bodhisattvas enable the realization of countless different varieties of wisdom and the cultivation of the genuine and marvelous practices of all bodhisattvas. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Bodhisattvas enable the realization of the countless different varieties of wisdom and the cultivation of the genuine and marvelous practices of all bodhisattvas. We had true and wonderful, genuine and marvelous. I like the way that sounds. Okay, moving on. 譬如真如无所取着，无所取着，上根会相依附如是，于一切法皆无所取，除灭一切世间取着，普令清净。Just as true suchness does not cling to anything, neither does bodhisattva's dedication of good roots, in that they do not cling to any phenomena, purifying all living beings by freeing them of mundane attachments. Yeah, good stuff. True suchness doesn't cling to anything. That would be like a root clinging to a branch tip. In between is the whole tree. There are lots of branch tips. They come and go. And there we go. The entire tree exists, the roots exist for the branch tips, and they interact. So true suchness would not cling to anything because it has all of reality in between. Okay? So true such bodhisattvas dedicate good roots to purify beings by freeing them from mundane attachments. Good job. just as true suchness has nothing it seizes on or becomes attached to. So too with dedications of roots of goodness, they enable beings to become free of any seizing on any dharmas and extinguish all attachments in all worlds, thereby enabling them to become purified. Okay, a different approach to the order of the clauses in this complex dedication, but I'll read them again so you can see how, cramping here. Does the English matter in what order we get the principles? You have to decide, but I think hearing it in two different ways is very helpful. So let's take a look here again. True suchness doesn't cling. Bodhisattvas also do not cling as they dedicate merit, in that they do not cling to phenomena and thereby purifying living beings by freeing living beings of attachments to anything in the mundane world, mundane stuff. Okay, that's one. True suchness has nothing it seizes on or becomes attached to. Bodhisattvas, when they dedicate roots of goodness, are the same, for they enable beings to become free of any seizing on any dharmas and become free of any seizing on any dharmas and extinguishes all attachments in all worlds, thereby enabling them all to become purified. Okay, same, right? 就说那个真如是性，那个万法就是有个理一个事啊，真如是理，万法是事啊，中间有实际 reality 很多万法在中间，所以呢不执着，有一个根一个末啊，树根不执着那个末梢，中间有一棵树啊，那么菩萨回向功德一样了啊，就令众生不执着任何法。OK。We need to finish 3 more here. How are we doing? Okay. 譬如真如体性不动，善根回向，亦复如是，安住普贤，圆满恒愿，究竟毕竟不动。Just as the essence of true suchness is intrinsically unmoving, so too is Bodhisattva's dedication of good roots. In that, ultimately unmoving, they abide firmly in Samantabhadra's perfect practices and vows. How good is that? If dedication brings us to Samantabhadra, I'm all for it. Just as the essential nature of true suchness is unmoving, so too it is with Bodhisattva's dedication of roots of goodness, for they enable establishment in the ultimate motionlessness of the perfectly fulfilled conduct and vows of Samantabhadra. Okay. Yes. Next. 譬如真如是佛境界，善根回向亦复如是，令诸众生满足一切大智境界，灭烦恼境，悉令清净。Just as true suchness is the Buddha's state, so too are Bodhisattva's dedication of good roots, in that it inspires all living beings to make perfect great wisdom, eradicating all afflictions and enabling everyone to become pure. Just as true suchness is the sphere of experience of the Buddha. Look at that. There's a new translation of Jingjie, sphere of experience. That's really interesting. We got to add that one to our collection. 境界, we're always looking for a better translation of 境界, sphere of experience. We've been using like existential state or state of being or Weltanschauung, is that the word? So, sphere of experience. Just as true suchness is the sphere of experience of the Buddha, so too it is with Bodhisattva's dedication to roots of goodness, for they enable all beings to fulfill all spheres of experience of great wisdom and extinguish afflicted spheres of experience, thereby causing them all to be purified. Wow. Okay. I like that. Great. Glad we're doing this. 譬如真如无能制服，上根回向亦复如是，不为一切众生磨事业，外道邪论之所制服。Okay. Just as true suchness cannot be suppressed, neither can their dedication of good roots, in that it cannot be suppressed by the multitude of demonic forces or erroneous theories of non-Buddhists. Okay, there's a translation of Wai Dao, non-Buddhists. All right. So, true suchness can't be suppressed, 致富, held down. Bodhisattvas, when they dedicate good roots, cannot be held down or suppressed either, in that by all of the demons or non-Buddhists' wrong views, 邪论, crooked ideas. Just as true suchness cannot be controlled or restrained by anyone, so too it is with Bodhisattva's dedication of roots of goodness, for they cannot be restrained or controlled by any of the works of the many maras or the erroneous doctrines of non-Buddhist paths. Okay, maras are demonic forces or demons, or non-Buddhist paths, erroneous doctrines. This mo, the Chinese was mo shi, the doings of Mo. There it is right there. The word demon in English is a trigger word. Demonic. We think Catholic priests who exorcists facing off with demons. We think of red-colored beings with horns on their head and a tail and a pitchfork. All of these maybe commercial or literary images of Mara. You go back to the Bible and you have Satan. And all of these, they're religiously so images of demons that come from religion or from commerce or from entertainment. When we use the word Mara, like Bhikshu Heng Sure did, Maras, the many Maras, it doesn't ring any of those bells. It doesn't trigger those images that Western culture has of demons, and it gives us a different it gives us different baggage on those words. So demons can't destroy, the doings of demons can't, what's the verb? 致富, suppress or hold down the teachings of the Dharma. And then 外道邪论, non-Buddhist teachings, of which India at the time abounded, which were abundant in India at the time and which are abundant now. Technology and science itself, never mind religion, have theories of reality that have caught our imagination. and to say that the Dharma and by somebody using their their mind to send out goodness can do all these wondrous things. The materialist theory suppresses this. There's a very interesting set of podcasts now available widely called the name of it is the telepathy tapes. The telepathy tapes. And it's done by a researcher who plugged into the community of particularly young people on the autism spectrum, non-speakers. There's one level of autism that whereby children are unable to speak. And this researcher has discovered that pretty conclusively that children with that disability, or that is not even a disability, children born into that reality often are telepathic. They are communicating with other children, young people, because autism is mostly focused on the last couple decades. They're worldwide, globally. Children are able to talk to each other on what they call the hill. It's a network of space where children can communicate with each other. They do it every single day at the same time. And there are a few adults who are able to participate in communicating with children who before this were considered just subhuman and unteachable and ignorant. Turns out that they're able to, well, I'll direct people there if you're curious. The telepathy tapes. If people are interested in listening to podcasts, that's a very interesting series, the telepathy tapes. It's widely available. So the enemy of the theory that autistic children are able to talk to each other is the materialist theory that absolutely rejects any notion that minds can talk to minds. And that's the dominant scientific paradigm. So is that considered a Xielun of Wai Dao? Interesting. That conversation should be had more. 就说我们英文呢，这个怎么翻译魔众魔，那个很敏感。你就说 demon， 大家都认为就是可怕的，我们就害怕魔。你如果用 Mara， 像恒说法师，Mara 摩罗，就是我们那个英文字是梵文，不是英文。你用那个字来代表众魔，大家不会马上怕了，他们都说哦，这是对治佛陀的这个魔王婆孙，那么这个是不同了然后呢，你就说外道邪论呢，那就是non-Buddhist 那包不包括科学呢？科学不承认那个实心存在因为没办法说六道轮回这个道理那个业报顺轮的这个前因后果，因为没办法来用机器来度量，所以呢不承认，这是一种邪论所以呢那个外道邪论的范围比较大我刚刚介绍一个叫 telepathy tapes， 他们知道有 autistic children， 他们都可以用心语心通那个 everybody should check out the telepathy tapes. There is true and false telepathy. Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Certainly there is. Okay, let's see here. I wanted to say a little bit about my picture here. I have a song. There is a story here. The story is that Confucius wanted to study the Guqin. Xiang, the teacher, came along and taught him one tune. Confucius was interested in the music that came from the Duke of Zhou, Zhougong. So he learned it from Xiang, the teacher, and he mastered the tune, melody, his technique, and all of the different zhifa, all the different methods of playing the Guqin. And Xiang said, okay, you got that one. I'll teach you another tune. Confucius said, no need. Every note of this vibrates infinitely with the Tao. Why be greedy for another tune? I haven't played all the music in this one. Music is magical. Every note I play touches the universe. And Xiang's jaw dropped, because here was a student who said, wow, music is, what do you need a second tune for? Can you ever finish playing one? And just expanding the idea that repertoire is necessary for the joy and the fulfillment of music to be realized. Wonderful story. 我那个左上那张画呢，就是孔夫子，就弹琴。他的师傅穿那个深红色的那个咖啡色的那个衣服，他叫香，他是古琴的老师。他就把一首交给孔夫子这么弹，指法音乐什么的那个调子，孔夫子学好了，就弹得很好。那个师傅满意了，说好，我把第二首曲子交给你。Confucius 就说不用了，这一首我没有弹完了。一个曲子何必第二个呢？你要怎么弹心呢？每一个音，每一个声音，我所弹的每一个声音，遍满法界，遍满宇宙。没有完的时候，我已经跟周公弹了一样的曲子，我超过时间，超过空间，不必第二个。那太弹了。然后像那个师傅，他就哇，这太深了，他真的莫名其妙，很有意思。So I put that, I thought that was a great story. So old Xiang taught how to play Guqin. Confucius came to learn from him, but all Confucius played was just one tune. Xiang said, time to move along. You played 10 days on just one song. Let me teach you another tune. Confucius said, every note that was ever played is still vibrating now. If you want a peaceful world, music shows us how. Now that's the new, I don't know if that's the second. It used to say, every note that was ever played is still vibrating now. Every song that was ever sung leads back to the Tao. That was the one, not sure how that's going to be. Let's see here. Let's take the other one. Here it is. Old Xiang taught how to play Guqin. Confucius came to learn from him. But all Confucius played was just one tune. Xiang said, time to move along. You played 10 days on just one song. You got it down, your technique's tight. Let me teach you another tune. Confucius said, every note that was ever played is still playing now. Every song that was ever sung leads back to the Tao. Confucius said, don't get me wrong, there's no need to move along. I haven't played, he wouldn't say need. I haven't. That's a little bit too country. I haven't played all the music in this song. I'm still singing the first verse. It opens to the universe. My hands have learned, but my mind's not done. I don't need another one. Every note that was ever played is still playing now. Every song that was ever sung leads back to the Tao. I'm contented with this song. There's no need to move along. There's a world of music singing in this tune. This song was played by the Duke of Zhou. That's all I need to know. Play it better, play it worse. Music is a gift from the universe. So that's, then there's a chorus. these are verses that I haven't massaged yet. So few people know the score. They've always greed for more and more. The more they hear, the more they're unsatisfied. Playing music calms me down. I hear the sky, I hear the ground. The whole world is a melody. Any note you play can set you free. Or something like, Xiang taught me how to tune my ears so I can transform every note I hear. I transform every note I hear. Tell me, where do the songs go? There's more than one verse. It opens to the universe. Okay, so anyway, this is, we're still in progress here. This is working on it. 就说写了一首歌，就形容孔夫子，他弹琴只弹了一首而已。像教他怎么弹，孔夫子来向他学习。可是孔夫子就弹了一首歌，像告诉他，好的，你学好了，我拿来，你弹了10天了，我把第2首交给你，怎么弹呢？你弹得很好啊，我要学第2首。孔夫子说，每一个音，你 every note that was ever played 还在响，每一首歌唱过的哪一首歌就回来根本啊。他说不要听错了，我觉得不必学第2首歌。这首歌的音乐我还没弹完了，我还是在第1曲，它整开，它 open， 它就你弹了一首，你可以入法界。就我手学好了，可是心没弹完了，不必学第2首第2曲。Every note it was ever played， 每个音还在响，每一首歌你唱过就还本还原。这首歌我很满意，不必再动。那个 There's a world of music。这首歌里边，这个曲子里边有很多音乐在那弹。周公弹过这首，那我就够了。你弹得好，弹得坏，这是宇宙给我们一种礼物。音乐是这么奇妙的东西，所以我就这首还没有写好了，所以我还在努力。The melody that I've got for this is it sounds like the band, the Robbie Roberts, the band. So anyway, work in progress. Okay, let's see here. Okay, 那个田庄长，你写了我，等我回去研究，然后下个礼拜可以再说一说。So Ten Transferences in Henan has asked the question about quasars. So I will look at his comments and then come back next week. 我等一下，我有机会慢慢的研究，然后下个礼拜再说哈，好吧？ Okay, welcome everybody. Glad you were here. We didn't work with Master Shenzhuang this week. We will do so next week. I found a very interesting movie on Master Shenzhuang. So I'll let folks know about that film next week. Let us dedicate merit. CTTB is in the middle of the 10,000 Buddhas. So hope that's all going well. Let's dedicate merit. Here we go. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Alrighty, before we go, we will bow to Guan Yin, and then at CTDB, people need to do the Da Hui Xiang, Great Transference. Shall we bow? Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Okay, that's going to do it for us this week. Next week, we will talk about repentance as well. 我们下个礼拜再讲一点这个忏悔的道理。Okay, thank you all for joining. See you all next week. 阿弥陀佛. Bye, everybody.